Hot Topics is always presented by Lexus, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Knicks. And the Rangers with a huge trade as they get very likely top pair right-handed defenseman Jacob Trouba from Winnipeg. They give up Neil Pionk, whose ceiling unknown at this point, struggled for sure during the second half of last year. And that number one pick, 20th overall, that the Rangers got in the Kevin Hayes deal is going back to Winnipeg. What a deal, Alan, for the Rangers.
Well, think about it. It just never mind the player. Obviously, Trouba, a 25-year-old defenseman, a guy that can put up 50 points. He's going to be on your power play. He's going to do all the things the Rangers certainly need. A big body, American kid. Look at that right there. Zach, pay attention, son. That's how you play defense.
You always have to bring it back to your kid.
I do. Well, come on. That's the level.
Learning from
Point
the
is this. Imagine acquiring a first-round pick from a team and also a player. Remember, Brendan Lemieux that they picked up, who played late last season. A lot of Ranger fans fell in love with him. And then saying, we'll take another one of your players here. You take your pick back. I mean, that's really what you did. Like, what Jeff Gordon did here is basically, and what I've seen a lot of headlines saying it, so it's not just me saying it, it's like highway robbery.
Stealing.
You're taking a player. Now, again, I think the Jets knew he's a restricted free agent. He's got the opportunity to be an unrestricted free agent after next season. The Jets probably figured either too rich for our blood or he's not going to re-sign here. So they wanted to get something for him. They do in Pionk, and obviously getting their pick back is important. But for the Rangers, it now gives them the opportunity to negotiate with a player who you could see being here for a very long time in a position they've been trying to fill for many years.
All right. Of course, the NHL draft is on Friday, NBA draft on Thursday night, and Wally, Allen, guys, Darius Garland went to Vanderbilt, played in only a handful of games because of a knee problem. He's going to work out tomorrow night with the Knicks, or tomorrow afternoon with the Knicks.
Got to take a look at this guy. Ton of talent. He would have elevated Vanderbilt to a much higher level if he was healthy. And I think that really hurt that team, and there's a reason why they struggled. But this kid can flat out play. He's got an NBA game. He was only in college to get ready for his NBA career. So the Knicks are doing their due diligence. Obviously, it looks like R.J. Barrett's going to be the guy, but got to work out to all these guys. That's how it worked. I mean, I knew I wasn't falling lower when I was drafted lower than 7. So I worked out for the top 7 teams. All teams want to take a look at you. You know, they want to compare you to the other guys that are at your level and around your draft class and your draft number. And Knicks are doing what they should be doing.
I love Darius Garland's game. Yeah. I mean, he's instant offense. Yes. I mean, the problem with him is nobody really saw him play.
That's why when people hear this, their reaction is,
Who's that?
Why are they doing this? And you said,
look at what the Knicks found in Mitchell
good.
Robinson, a guy that nobody saw play
and you want to
in
work
college.
him out. But Jules, his game is essentially not just instant offense, but something that's so important now in today's game, which you had, is
versatility in shooting. Yeah.
Right. That's the shooting part of it. Is I think everybody wants to take a look at that up close.
Yep. Floor spacing. That's the new. That's the new thing anymore.
And we've had Rothstein in here, a guy who was following this stuff pretty closely, and I will admit I was the first to question 5 games in college he ain't been playing. Like, how does that work? But I think, and we've talked about this in the green room, Wally, if you can play, it's going to show itself.
Definitely.
You know, especially shooting.
No, Kyrie Irving didn't play at all, basically, for Duke.
That's a good one. Yeah, he got hurt.
That's a good point.
He did get hurt.
When he did, you could see how
I know. He went number 1. And there's a difference.
You knew he was the number 1
pick. You can pick out
no
the
doubt.
talent quickly.
And there's a difference between a big man like a Mitchell Robinson, who's extremely raw, didn't play in college, and point guards who you just know already have that it factor. They just have to grow.
Yes.
All right, Mike Conley's got a huge contract. Memphis is picking 2 overall. You wonder if they pick Ja Morant, what that might mean for Conley. It's going to be very interesting. There's some other chatter that maybe Memphis might be interested in R.J. Barrett at number 2.
Well, Memphis. I think the talk now is that Memphis could be looking to make a trade out of 2, but Conley's got 2 years left at $67 million.
Stay away from that.
And as a 30-year-old player,
who's going to take it, Wall?
Now, when
That's what I mean.
Well,
I'm not taking
Utah
that.
Jazz actually
That's
are very interested. That's one team. The Miami Heat could also be interested. Dallas Mavericks as well. So there are teams because it's only 2 years. And he is, when healthy, a very good player.
He's one of my favorites.
That's the asterisk.
And look, you're going to have teams with cap space, and there's going to be teams that aren't going to be able to hit on big free agents, but still want to bring in a good player and maintain flexibility. This kind of contract does that for you. So he could be a player we see moved. There's a lot else going on, of course. The other name, we talked about this, I think, from the very beginning of this show, is Bradley Beal. Teams still talking about Bradley Beal and wondering what the Wizards are going to do once they figure out who's running the organization.
Could he be a fit in the Lakers?
They will not. I don't know
how.
LeBron?
He'd be a
it's a
perfect
fit. But financially, I don't know how they make that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
He's a
he plays off
perfect
the. Yeah, he
fit
can play off the
with
ball.
I think you could
yeah.
put him on pretty
love
much
his
any
game.
team
I
at
do.
all.
I would
my
be
kind
very
of guy.
sad to see
That's
Bradley
my kind of
DC.
game.
Believe it or
Bradley
not,
Beal.
the Pelicans.
Can he
Believe it
be
or
a
not.
fit?
I think I like that.
Oh, he would be.
Perfect fit.
Oh, he's a
again,
veteran
they can
and he
make
can do
it's
everything.
a trade now. Remember,
Right.
you have to have a lot of assets to make
Yeah.
that kind of trade. New Orleans, Boston, who now Boston's reeling. You know, they didn't get Anthony Davis. They think Kyrie is gone. What are they going to do now up
You know,
there?
Boston's interesting to me because I think
They have 3
Beal is
first-round
the.
picks.
And by the way, Al Horford opted out.
Yes.
Opted out. Where is he
$30
going to go?
Which I
million
don't
he
understand.
opted out
Right.
of.
I know.
There's something coming down the pipe, guys. We just gotta wait and see what
trying
Al
to
and his
figure
chocolate
out-
milk.
Wait, let's
We gotta see
speculate.
what Al and his
disappoints.
chocolate milk are
We
thinking.
wanna
But
know.
Bradley Beal to me in Boston would be a fantastic fit. Obviously,
it would.
he's a guy that can go anywhere. But to me, he's a Brad Stevens guy
No
in
question.
terms of the type of system. Like Beal coming off screens, we were salivating last week looking at that pump fake from Clay in the in game 6 or game
Yes.
5.
Yes.
Beal
Patience.
all day.
And he can run the floor. I mean, the way he's a
He needs
push
to change the
guard.
scenery.
And
'cause I
Beal-
do think
Yeah,
there's more to
I mean,
him.
it's
Beal
imploding
can
in
handle
DC.
the ball a little more
Yes.
too.
Yeah.
He can combo, play a little bit of one.
How much better were they when
Yeah.
Wall got hurt? He'd taken over running the
Took
offense.
over running the team.
Another name, Chris Paul. And now that's one where you go, what? Right? At this
Oh,
age.
yeah.
Well, but you
No,
know what?
hot
There's a lot
hands?
of
That ain't part of
dissension on the
that.
Rockets.
I don't
There's a-
think he's going anywhere because
There's-
of how much money is
Yeah.
Well, that's
involved
what it
there.
is.
But-
He's got 2 years left. He's 34. He's got 38 this year, 41 next year. I'm talking about $1 million.
He better learn how to play with Harden.
How
then.
about this? He has a player
Basically.
option at the age of 36 for $44.2 million. You think he's taking that option? I think he
At
would with his
36?
injury history. So that contract is going to be very difficult to move.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk about how there's friction between Chris Paul and James Harden, that story that ran on ESPN. Daryl Morey has denied a lot of it, and he has said that Chris Paul has not come to him asking for a trade. But you can imagine that Chris Paul might want out of there, and if he does,
Well,
who's taking that contract?
Well, you never believe all of that. You don't worry about locker room dissension and all of that
Oh,
stuff.
I don't worry about that.
Whenever we bring it up, you always say, "Oh, it's nonsense." But it's clear that Harden and Paul right now are not getting along,
but
and if they're not
Was it
getting along,
nonsense in Boston?
but that's the case with
That's
all
the
stars in
nonsense
general.
to create the noise that leads to a trade. And the noise is maybe Houston wants to get rid of him because of those numbers, so they're trying to create something amidst the locker room in order to make it like.
Wouldn't that
okay,
devalue him,
Chris
though?
Paul- It would.
Yeah, so why would you do that if
I
you're
don't
Houston?
understand. I don't understand the mindset behind it. I don't know where it came from, whether it came from Chris
That's the
Paul's
question.
camp,
Right.
whether
Where did
came
it come
from
out? Right.
Houston.
Now we're
You don't
bust
know
for
where-
Houston.
Those
These guys
numbers are
coexisted.
crazy.
They were the perfect fit for the last 3 years. They were winning all kinds
Yeah,
of
but what do
games,
we always
scoring all
say in
kinds of
They don't
sports?
win when it
Winning,
matters,
right? They don't
They
win.
just blew it
They
in the
blow
fourth
it down
quarter
the
against the
stretch.
Warriors in a couple playoff series. And
Consecutive, a couple
and the
consecutive.
Spurs 2 years ago.
Same script.
Don't you think it's now or
Listen,
never for
I'm
them?
at the
I mean,
mindset.
change, blow
Retool
it up.
with the same lineup you had. You had a few injuries that you dealt with this season. Try to get to that point next year. The Warriors are not going to be the same because now they're dealing with the injuries, and re-rack it with that Houston team. And maybe all you got to do is get through the Lakers.
That's what Morey wants
Why
to do.
would you?
adding
Why would
another
you
player.
blow it up?
Well,
That's what Morey wants to do.
by the
That's what
way,
he said.
Mike D'Antoni
You
still.
don't understand what you have until you don't have that anymore.
That's
the
life.
Houston
That is
Rockets.
true.
Come on, Wally, you
exactly.
better give us this word.
The Houston Rockets
can relate.
have had 60
We can
plus
relate.
wins for the last
D'Antoni's still
5
looking for an
years.
extension
Now or
past
never
next
for
year.
Give him one.
He's only got 1 year left.
I would.
He wants to say,
Most
"Come
coach
on,
in the
guys!
NBA.
Wants to say that
Pete
for many years to
loves
I
come.
want makers.
Wally's giving money like Oprah. Like, he doesn't care.
For more great videos from the MSG 150, check out right there. And remember, our show is on Monday through Thursday, 8 to 10:30 p.m. on MSG Network and MSG Go.